Hi everyone, good evening. This side Avipsha, and hopefully you are all going ahead with the sessions accordingly. So today we are starting off with a new session altogether. Here we will be understanding about the joins and different other stuff. Okay, so let's just go ahead with the session accordingly. I am just sharing the screen. Hopefully my screen would be visible to you. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the screen, and hopefully the screen is visible to you, and also my words are clearly audible to you people. Okay, so first, we will be discussing about joins. Okay, so what are joins, or what is joins basically in SQL? Okay, so suppose you have two notebook. Okay, so the very first one is notebook one, and the second one is notebook two. So notebook one, it is of students, so let's just write it here as students and notebook two. Okay, let's just format it. And this one is about marks, right? So as you can see, the table and the details, it actually signifies the details. So we have the student ID in the student notebook along with the name, right? And coming down to notebook two with the marks with the student ID and the specific marks. So both the notebook talk about the students, but different details are written, right? So one has the names and one has the marks. Now, what if we want the details together, like student name plus the marks together? Okay, so in that case, we were using this joint concept. Okay, so this is where this joint concept comes in. Okay, so what does exactly this join means? Okay, so join is like joining two tables together. This is the like the terminological sense what we can think about, that is join. Okay, so join is like joining two tables together, just like joining two different puzzles together, like two puzzle pieces together to form a puzzle, joining two different notebooks and matching two lists using the common columns that we are already done. So that is basically the part of joining. Okay, now coming down, why do we need this joins, right? So we need join because this real data is stored in many tables, right? So one table cannot hold everything about a single thing, right? So this join actually helps us to combine the related information. What are the information that are basically related? Those informations, okay? Now coming down about the common column. What would be the common column? So we need to join basically two table based on the like on the support of something, right? So there needs to be a common column that would be there in the tables that we want to join. Okay. So basically a common column is like a column that exists in both the tables. Okay. We use to match the rows based on that. Okay. So you can see the student ID column is there in student table, and also the student ID is available in marks table. Okay. So both of them are easily available and you can see them, right? So that is the part. Now coming down to, this is all about the details, the basic details that you need to understand about joins. Now we'll just come down about join types. What are the main types of join? Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. Now there are five important join types. Okay. Five important join types. Okay. So the very first one is inner join. The second one is left join. The third one is right join. The fourth one is full join. And the fifth one is self join. Okay, so we will be learning each one of them accordingly. The very first one we need to discuss, that is the inner join. Okay, anyway, hopefully my screen is visible. Like, let me just zoom it a bit. Yeah. Now, hopefully, it is visible to you. So, inner join we will be discussing. Inner join means only the matching ones, only the matching numbers. Okay. So, this exactly meaning of inner join. Now, suppose you have the list of two friends, okay? So we want only the friends who are there in both the lists. That is the stuff we actually want, okay? Now, let's just take the two tables accordingly. So we have the tables this and this. So we'll just copy it down and paste it down so that it is easier for you to understand and relate. And this is the other table. This is now. Now this is done. Now basically what we are wanting to do here. So what this inner join actually does, that we want to understand. The very first thing, so as I mentioned, inner join means only the matching one. So it will only show the matching ID because we have got the student ID, this being the common table in both this, student ID being the common column in both the tables, the student table and the marks table, right? So now if you just need to see it properly, you can just easily see it that in case of inner join, it will be only showing only the matching ID. It will ignore the unmatched ones. What are the unmatched data we will be getting? That would be ignored accordingly. So here you can see that from this table and this table, if we are comparing, one is there. Here we can get one. Coming down to two, two is here, 2 is here, but 3 is not here, and also 4 is not here. Like 3 is not available in the marks table, and 4 is not available in the student table, right? So here the result will be coming up for them. So we will be getting the result like this, right? And let's go here. So we'll just delete it. We'll just delete it. So this is how my table will look like. Okay, so this is after performing inner join. So this is after performing, yeah, this is after performing the inner join. This would be my result. Okay, so now basically, if I need to go ahead and deeper, so you can see that Rahul has no marks that needs to be removed. His marks has been accordingly given up because his ID is one and the student ID one is also available in marks. So we have student ID one named Rahul and marks 85. For we have student ID 2, Ananya, we have the marks of Ananya, that is 90. But for Rohan, we don't have a marks, and for a student whose marks is 70, we are not having the name of the student. Okay. So basically, for ID 4, no student has to be removed, and for Rohan, there needs to be no marks that is removed. Okay. So that is the major case. Okay. So here it is Rahul that whose marks we are getting, and here is Ananya whose marks we are getting. So definitely inner join is equal to the common data that is there in both the table, it will be showcasing those. Okay. So this is all about the inner join. Coming down to left join. Left join means all of the elements of the left will be coming down. Okay, so all of the elements that are there in the left, if like even if are like the only the names are there, then also we will be getting this. Okay, so suppose imagine this left table is the main notebook and the right table is the extra notebook. So we want to show all of the student even if they don't have the marks that we want to show. Okay, so now suppose we have after left join, like after we have done the join, this is the data that we will be taking it. So after performing left join, we will be getting the data like this, Control C, Control V, and also this data we will be getting. Okay, sorry, till here we will be getting. Yeah. But here we will be getting the, we won't be getting the data because like the marks for Rohan, the marks is not available, right? So here we will be adding a shape. What kind of shape we can add? Just a moment. A cross shape we can add, right? So this is the cross shape we can add. So we can understand that for Rohan, we are not having the mark. Okay, so this is left join. So for left join, it says like the elements, the table that is there in the left, all of the data I want from that table, along with the data that is getting combined with the second table. Because for 1 and 2 ID, we are getting the data here. So that part till that part is it will be getting. So majorly what is there, we will be getting the inner join data accordingly. And after inner join data, the data that is left, that is there in the left column, like the left table, which is extra for which we are not having the data in the marks table, that will also be get involved. But for the marks part, it would keep vacant. Okay, so Rohan is kept because he is there in the left table. Okay. So the basically what are the parts that need to be considered here? So we will be keeping all rows from the left table. We will be adding the matching data from the right table. If there is no match, we will keep that part empty, but we will keep the data accordingly. Okay. This comes to the left join. Okay. Hopefully up to now things are easily and clear to you. Coming down to right join. This is just simple and easy, like the one that we have discussed about left join. Okay, the same thing will be happening, but here we have considered about the all of the left data. But in case of right join, we will be considering all of the data from the right table. Okay, so it will be showing all of the marks even if student name is missing. Okay, so basically we will be getting this Control C, Control V, but here we will be getting the data different. 4, there should be no data, no name. So this I'll just Control X and Control V. So we will get the data like we will be having no name, and for the marks is 70 for ID for ID 4. Okay, so this is what it is. So this is how it will be coming. Okay. So you can see for the right join, we have taken all of the data from the right table. Also the matching data we have taken from the left table accordingly. And now we have just taken it. So ID 4 kept it because that is there in the right table, but the name is not there. So the name part is vacant up here. So we have just put cross up there. So we'll keep all of the rows from the right table, will remove the unmatched left rows accordingly. Here you can see for Rohan was there, but his data has been removed because Rohan belongs to the left table. Okay. Now coming down to the full join. Okay, full join, as the name suggests, that everyone is invited. Like this kind of name you can get, right? So it's like student without marks will be there in the table. Student without the name will get into the table, marks without the student that will be getting involved, and the matching ones will also get involved. Okay, so we will be getting the combined table of this and this. So we will just copy this, control C, control V. Along with that, we'll just take this value, control C, control V. And for Rohan, there would be an empty, it would be 70, this would be 4, like this. So my data would come up like this, and we will be getting across here and across here. Okay, so hopefully you have understood that no one would be removed. So we will be keeping all rows from both the table. Will fill the missing data, like will the filled the missing data and empty values accordingly. There would be filling, like there is no exact values that we have got accordingly. So we are just keeping those empty. Okay, so the missing data will be kept as will be replaced as a missing value itself, will be just taken it like that only. Okay, so that becomes the full join. Now coming down to self join. Self join is like, it's like the table taking it's like table taking itself only, like it is taking itself. Okay, so imagine the table is like the employee table. So let's just take an employee table. So we have taken the employees table. Here we have the EMP ID. Next we have the name. Next we have the manager ID, like this. Okay. So we have given the name as 1, we have given the name as 2, and we have given the name as 3. And we have given the name as Ravi. Next we have given the name as Neha. We have given the name as Aman, like this. And here we have the values like manager ID 1, manager ID 1, like this. And this is vacant. Okay. So this is vacant. So we'll just put a cross here and we'll just format this one accordingly. Yeah, fine. So this is the exact data that I am having. Okay, so now your manager is also an employee. The same table is used twice, right? So you can understand the same table has been used twice. So that is after doing what would be the result of self join? Like this is basically the thing is how it is coming up. These are the employees that has the manager ID as well. Okay, so this manager is also an employee. So the same table we have used it twice. So now the result of self join would be the employee and the manager accordingly. So employee is like Neha and Aman, and it would be the manager, it would be Ravi and Ravi, right? So the table joins with itself. So the matched employees with the manager from the same table. So that is the part that we have to understand from here. Okay, so in that case we are just taking it accordingly. Basically this like self join is just taking it accordingly. It's like the table joins with itself. Okay, so that is the major part of the self join. Okay, so now we have basically discussed about inner join, left join, right join, full join, and self join. So inner join, only matching rows we will be getting. Left join, we will be getting all from the left table. Right join, we will be getting all data from the right table. Full join, everything we will be getting, all of the data we will be getting from both the table. And self join is the table joins itself only. Okay, so that is the part. And so here basically we have got this Neha Aman as the ID as well, like this one and one. So basically they will be becoming the the employee basically, and the manager would be Ravi and Ravi. Like here it will be employee and here would be manager. So we will be having Neha, we will be having Aman, and here we will be getting the value as Ravi and Ravi. Okay, so this would be the result for this. Okay, so we have discussed everything as of now. Now, here we just need to understand about the subqueries. Okay, so what is subquery and how we need to just take it accordingly, that we will be understanding. So, till now, we have discussed well about the joins, the different types of join, how they are working, and what exactly the work of this joins and how they are helpful. All of them we have gone through. Now we will be just discussing about subqueries. Okay. Subquery, we need to just discuss it up. Okay. So here you can see, like first we need to understand what is query. Okay. A query is simply like a question we ask to the database to get the information, right? So we give some of the question like show all of the student, show the student marks, show student who scored more than 80. These are exactly the questions that we generally ask to the database. Okay. So this query is equal to the question. Okay. So now coming down to subquery. So subquery means the query inside another query. Okay. So what is it? The query inside another query is having this is called the subquery. Okay. In normal sense, if you need to understand it, we will be calling it. We will be just giving the idea like this only. That is the query inside another query. Okay. So in simple words, the thing is, suppose one question is asked first, and then the answer of that question is used inside another question. That is basically the subquery. So this is basically we call it as sub. Sub means inside, and query is the question. That is the part. So why exactly we need this subquery? So sometimes what happens, one question depends on the another one, right? So we cannot answer the main question directly. So we must find something first, and then based on it, we need to go ahead. Okay. So that is the major part of subquery. Moreover, subquery actually helps us to break a bigger question into smaller steps or chunks so that at the end we get a really reliable and easy to understand answer of that very question. Okay. Now, coming down to some of the important rules that we need to understand. So, the subquery always runs first. Okay, the subquery always comes down first. So, the inner question is, should be answered first, then the outer question approached. Okay, so inner questions. Okay, let's just write it down. Inner question that needs to be fine, like that's need to be answered first. Next, coming down to the outer question. This should be answered next using that result. Okay, using the result of inner question. Okay, so now think it of as like the steps accordingly. Okay, So inner question, outer question, it might get difficult for you. So you can just think it of as steps. So step one is to find something or get the answer of the inner question, and the step two is like use that result to get the answer of another query. Okay, so that is the major thing. Okay, let's just simply take an example. So here we have taken the example. We'll just take it like that. So we'll just take this example. And now we just add another name. Suppose 4, we are taking it as Neha. And we'll just take it. And next we will be taking the marks. We have the marks table. Yes. So we will be taking like changing this to 3. This we will be having 4. And let's just give the result as 92. Okay. Now, first, if I have a question like find student who scored the highest marks. Okay. So what is my query? Find student who scored the highest marks. Okay. So in that case, step by step, I'll be thinking the stepwise, what is the highest marks that I need to find? Then based on that very marks, I need to find out who has scored that highest marks, right? So this is an example of a subquery. Here there is two questions. Find student who scored the highest marks. Student and the highest marks. Okay. So the very first step is to find like what is the exact highest marks among all of the marks that has been enlisted. So if we are just getting this marks, like let's just copy this marks here, Control C, Control V, and now let's just I want to sort it. Okay. So my marks are coming up like that 92, 90, 85, 70. So 92 is the highest marks that I am getting, right? So in that case, this is my first step of finding that the highest marks is 92. Or we could have done like, we could have just taken out like that, that 92 is the highest mark that we are receiving from here. Now, after finding this, from here we need to find who has got 92. 4, that is student ID 4, that is Neha. So Neha has got the highest marks. Okay, so that would be the question. Now, if we are just giving or changing the result, like suppose we are just changing the result like this, like for 2, we are just giving it as 92, and for 4 also we are getting 92. Okay, so the highest mark that we have got is 92, of course, but when we are changing this value, then we will be getting the result of Ananya and Neha. Okay, so that would be the result. So if I need to get on this data, like after this updated data, the final result, it would be name and marks. The name is coming up as Ananya and marks would be 92. Coming down here, we will be having Neha. We will be having the marks as 92. Okay, so this is all about this. So step one is the subquery and step two is the main query. Okay, step one would be the subquery. Here, subquery is finding the highest mark, and my main query is to find the student who has got the highest mark. Okay, so this is all about a subquery. Okay, hope you understood how we have to like deal with a subquery, like how we need to first focus on the subquery, like the inner query, and then just move it down to the outer query accordingly. Okay. Now coming down, where are this query used? Where are this query used? Hopefully, in the last session, if you have just taken it accordingly, we have discussed about where, select, from, with, like, I guess we haven't used the comparison operators that we can discuss today. That in that case, we need this subqueries, okay? So if we are using this where clause, okay, just a minute, where clause. Okay, so where clause, subquery in case of where clause. So when we use it, so if we want to filter data using any another query, in that case we are using it. Suppose what is my query? Suppose I want to find the student who scored more than the average mark. So my query is find students who scored more than the average marks. Okay, so this is my this is my query basically. Okay, now what would be my step? So step one, I will be just finding the average marks. What is the average marks of this that I'll be finding? So I'll be finding average and I'll try to find all of it and I'll close it and hit enter. So we have got the marks that we are getting it around 84. Okay, so the marks that is we are getting that is 84. So first step would be finding the average, finding of average marks. Okay, next coming down to step two. So that is basically finding student with marks greater than 84. Okay. Now, basically, we will be finding the student who has got marks like greater than 84. So, we have got Rahul, we have got Ananya, and we have got Neha. All of this result, we will be getting it up here. So, the final result, that would be name, then would that would be marks, then we would be having Rahul, next we would be having Ananya, and next we will be having Neha. And the marks we would be having Rahul is 85, Ananya is of course 92 and Neha is also 92. Okay, so this is the final result of this query. Okay, so this is the subquery that we are getting. Like this is the result of the subquery that we are getting. Now, subquery, we will be also getting subquery where we will be getting, like in return, we will be getting one value. Okay, a single row subquery is there. So, what does that mean, single row subquery? That is actually the subquery that gives only one single answer. For example, the max, the mean, the average, that is also a part of a subquery. For example, if I want to find out the highest marks, so I'll be getting only the highest marks. The lowest marks, if I need to find out the lowest marks, I'll get just a single number as a finding, right? And we can use it with the operators as well, like equal to, greater than, equal to, smaller than, equal to, say only greater than or less than. That we can use accordingly. Now, if I need to find out the find student with lowest marks, like if my subquery is coming out as find student with lowest marks, right? So basically, first I need to find out the lowest marks. So the lowest marks is coming around 70. So lowest marks that is coming for 70, that is coming out for 70. Now the result would be name. and marks. The name is Rohan and the marks is 70. So you can see that we are getting a single, like a single row query. This is so only one result we are getting with it. Okay. So this is about it. So this can be used for many other clause like for from clause or select clause. All of this we can use the subquery. So that we will be seeing when we will be moving down in the practical sessions. Okay. So coming down to subquery rules that you must remember. So the subquery always runs first. Okay. Because that is the inner one. Next we have the outer one, right? So subquery is the inner one. So subquery always runs first. And subquery is of course inside a bracket. So the subquery can return one value, can return many value, and also can return a table if we are using the select one. Okay, so subquery can be inside select. Select clause can be inside the where clause, can also be inside from clause. Okay, so these are the parts that needs to be remembered accordingly. Okay, so next coming down, when should we use the subquery? So basically, when the logic is more important than finding the like what is the speed by which we are finding, in that case we will be using subquery. And when the answer actually depends on the other answer, in that case, we will be using this subquery. Okay, so hopefully subquery part is clear to you. Now we will be just taking a comparative analysis about subqueries and the joins. Okay, so subquery is a query inside another query. Okay, so one question is answered first, then we have then this answer is taken accordingly, and based on that, the another question is tackled. Okay, and what is join? Join is just the combination of two tables side by side. The rows are matched using the common column, and the data comes together in a single one result. Okay, so it works at the same time. So of course we can understand this query. Subquery is coming out as a step-by-step format, and join is a singular form. Is one form actually that that brings everything together. Okay, so the inner join actually runs first, and then we are moving down to the outer join. But in case of join, there is no order that is maintained, both the table process together. Okay, so these are the basic identification that we can take it from here. So this is all about joins, and also we can use a subquery to like suppose we have like let's just take an example so that it can be understood. So the same tables we will be taking. Okay, this tables. Okay, let's take this tables. So we have got the marks. Okay, let's just take it here, and we'll just take this one. Okay, so we have these two tables. Okay, now the same question, and we will be doing it in two ways. So find student who have marks. So we need to, the query is find student who have marks. This is my query. Okay. So now using subquery, how we need to subquery, we will be using first the logic that first I need to find out the IDs. So subquery will get the list of IDs from the marks table. Okay. Now coming down to the main query, I want to find the student who have marks. The main query will check which students are matching. So first we'll find the ID, second we'll filter the students. So now after doing it, we will be getting the result of Rahul and Ananya. So the names basically I'll be getting for after using subquery, we will be getting this as the result. Okay. Now coming down using join. This is using subquery. Okay. So subquery, what it does, first it has just find out the IDs. Second, filter students. Okay. So this is what it has done. Now coming down after subquery, if I just need to find out about the joins, how we can get the result using joins. Okay. So now how it works now, if I want to match the table, first I want to match the table with the marks table using ID. Now I'll be showing the match rows together, right? So how I'll be showing it up? So I'll be getting Rahul and Ananya, control V, and I'll be showing this result. So this is how my result will be showing in case of joins. Okay. So majorly the difference that we can find up here, that in case of subquery, it actually more matches, it actually focuses basically on the matches, like who actually is the match, about the names, right? And about, sorry about this. So this will be just taken here. Yeah. So here it will be control X, control V, and here we will be getting the name. Okay, control C. Yes. Yeah. So this is how my result will be looking. This is basically for the subquery. This is basically for the joins. Okay. So basically subquery is trying to focus on who is the match, the name of the student, and join actually brings the data together. Okay. And according to the column that will be showing in case of subquery is usually one, is the one from the table. Okay, usually from the one table, like that is there, that is the main query, is like main query is about the student, right? The student is in the left table, so it will be taking the data from the left table only, right? But in the joins it will be taking, like merging the two table and giving us the combined data. So this is the way we are going here. Okay. So it is actually required based on the problem we are solving. So they have different types and different ways by which they have different segments where they can be used in their way. Okay. Now coming down to about explaining the exist, any, and all. So exist, any, and all. These are three words that is used with subqueries. They actually help us to check the condition using result from the another query. Okay. So first, what problem do exist, any, and all solve, that we will be seeing, and eventually we will moving down. Okay. Sometimes a subquery returns a list of value, multiple rows it can return also. And if you want to ask the question, what like does something exist, or is there any value greater than at least one, or is a value greater than all, if this kind of question we are getting, and that is the reason we are getting and use of this clause, basically, that is the exist, any, and all. So for that we will be getting in a better ideology and better thinking based on it. Okay. So let's just take the example accordingly. So taken this table and also this table. So we will be just taking the tables side by side. Yes. So we have taken the tables. Now we will be seeing how to use the exist. Okay. So what does this exist means? Exist means like check whether at least one row do exist or not. Okay. It does not care about the actual values, numbers, or the columns. It only checks is there at least one matching row found or not. So the important point that needs to be discussed about exist is like the result that it will be giving, that is either true or false. It actually stops checking after finding a single match. Okay, once you find a single match, it stops checking. It will not go further. Okay, now coming down about any of the query that we need to find. So now I want to find the student who have the marks. Same query we will be taking. Okay. Now it what it will be doing? It will check the marks table first. What is the marks table there? If the student ID exists there, if the student ID exists there, in that case, then that would be included. Like then it will include that student. Okay. So for this exist, the result that I will be getting that would be Rahul. I will be getting Ananya, and I'll be getting Rohan. Okay, I will be getting the marks of Rohan, and also I'll be getting the marks of Neha, because for all of them we have got the value. Okay, now suppose we don't have this value like 4 and 92, this value we are not having. Okay, in that case, what happens? We will be getting the value till Rohan, Rahul, Ananya, and Rohan. Okay, so that comes with the exist. So this is how we are used to and confirming with this. So Neha is not included because there is no matching marks we are getting. So the key rule for exist is at least one match should be there. The result would be true. If there is no match, we will be getting the false. Okay, so that is the basic part about exist, and exist is there at least one existing. That is coming down for exist. Now we have the keyword that is any. Coming down, what does any mean? Any means comparing with at least one value from the list. So for any, we are using the different company like operators like greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, like this. Now we are getting the example subquery result. Okay, so now we suppose have the marks list, and the marks list is coming out right 85, 92, 70. Okay, so this is the marks list we are having. Now find the student who scored more than any marks above 80. So that will be coming out. Find students who scored more than any marks above 80. Okay, so in that case, what is the logic that is coming up? That is any means at least once, of course. So more than any, that would be coming out as that would be coming out as 70. That will be also giving us the true value. For 92, it will be giving us also the true value. For 70 also, we will be getting as true value. And for 85 also, true value. Okay, so that would be the thing that we can find out. So now for any of the important part, if we are just taking is greater than any, then less than any, then less than minimum we have to take. If we are taking equal to any, that needs to match at least one value. Like this, we have to take it. So any is like at least one value. Okay. So that is coming up for any. So for this, we will be getting all of these values because it has been told five students who scored more above 80. So above 80, all of the marks are coming above 80 only. So we will be just taking all. Now coming down to all means like compare with every value in the list. Okay, so the condition must be true for all of the values. Now using the same this marks list only, now we have to find out like the would than more than all marks 80. This should be all. In respective of any, we will be getting all. Okay, all marks that is above 80 that we need to find out. Okay, so now we need to find out what we need to find out must be greater than for all it must be greater than, right? So only here 92 actually satisfying it. So 70, like 92 would be greater than 70. 85 would be greater, the 92 would be greater than 85, but the highest one is coming down 92. There is no other one comparing it. We will be getting something higher, right? So in that case, we will be getting the value as or the result as 92. And the result would be Ananya and 92. Okay. So this is all about this. All is like greater or smaller than everything. That is how we have to figure the things up. So this is how we need to check each of the stuff accordingly. Okay, now coming down to alias, we have discussed about joins, subquery, and how what are the different forms and where they are used. Everything we have discussed. Now we will be discussing about alias. Okay, so we will be discussing about alias. So what is alias? Alias is basically a temporary short name that is given to a table or any of the column we can call. Okay, so basically alias is equal to another name or a nickname you can say. Okay, so let's just write it a temporary name or a nickname. Okay, so why do we need this alias? Alias are used to make the names, whatever be the names that we are giving, that needs to be shorter and make the queries easier to read. Okay, so what are the queries that we are getting? So that needs to be easier to read and to avoid confusion when we are using multiple tables, right? So in that case, we are using alias. So there are some of the important rules that needs to be remembered. So alias names are actually temporary, okay? They exist only while the query actually runs and they are not saved in the, okay? So that needs to be remembered accordingly. Now, suppose if we are telling the taking the student details like the same one, student with the names, let's just take it here, Control C and the marks, and we'll just paste it here. Just a minute, guys. I guess my screen has got frozen. Just a moment. Yeah, I am trying to just operate it. It's not taking. Just a moment. Okay, fine. Now I guess it's working. Okay. So we have got the student ID, name and the marks accordingly. Okay. Now the common alias that we need to understand. What is a column alias? Okay. Column alias is like that actually gives a new name to the column in the result. Okay, so that is the column alias. Okay, now suppose if I need to give the example instead of showing like student ID, if I need to just give it only an ID, okay, we can show it only by ID. Inspector here, the name is as name, but if there is student name in respect of student name, I can just change it with name. If the here it is marks, I can change it with score, right? So that we can do. Okay. Now basically after doing instead like after performing all of this, my data will just get changed. Like this will be get changed. Control C, Control V as ID only coming down to name. It is coming down as name only and it will be changed to score. Okay. So this is exactly what we want. So the column alias only change how the output would be looking. Okay. So if I am just running any of the query up here, what would be my output? That will be just changed accordingly. Okay. Now, why this column alias are used? It is basically used for reports, for calculated columns, basically, and for getting the names accordingly. In that case, we are getting a use of column alias. Now we need to suppose identify and understand about table alias. So what is a table alias? A table alias actually gives a short name to the table. Suppose instead of writing, suppose student dot student underscore name, what we can write, or student dot marks. In case of what we can write as dot student name, right? So this is much more easier and understandable. S is the alias for student here. So here we have just replaced the student with S. So S is the alias for students. Okay. So this is how it is. So why the stable alias are just taking access with that, because we are getting to write the queries, the length of the queries would get shorter. So we will be have to handle shorter query, and it will be required when we will be using this joins operations required in self join and different other joins as well, like the full join, inner join, right join, outer join, all of this. Okay. And it also avoid the confusion when the column names are same. Okay. So if we are using this alias with join, like how we are using it, suppose I have the table as ID and I have like the name of the columns basically. The table would be student, and here I am giving the ID as 1 and 2, and here I am giving the name as Rahul, Ananya, this names, and about marks, here again I'll be taking ID and marks. And here I'll be taking 1, 2, and here any marks I can take 85, 92, any of them. Okay. Now we can use the table alias, right? So for table, like for the student, I can use the name as S, and for marks, I can use the name as M. Okay. So now we will be able to take it accordingly. Now, if I am using this, I'll be getting the result accurately. There won't be any issue with this part. Now, without this alias, the query that I'll be writing, that would be become very long and confusing. So to avoid that, we are just taking this alias. Okay. Now coming down to some of the rules of alias, as we have to understand, because alias are temporary, right? This alias that we have talked of, that is temporary. So alias can be of table or column that we have already discussed, and this alias queries like makes this query shorter and cleaner, right? So that needs to be taken into mind accordingly, because they are temporary. Once the query has run, we won't be getting the access of it, right? So the alias is often required to use in case of subqueries, join, self join, and alias does not change the original name. Okay, so that is the major thing. The original name stays permanent, but the alias is not permanent. The original name gets stored in the database, but this alias doesn't get stored in the database. And also, original name is used in the logic. but alias can't be used in the logic. Okay, so in case of it is only used for display. Okay, for this, just for displaying it, we can just use it. Okay, so hopefully we have just gone in details about all of this. Like we have discussed about joins and details, then we have gone down, discussed about the subqueries and also the alias in details. Now, finally, we have discussed all of it in details. Hopefully, all of the theoretical portions are easily clear to you and you have understood each and every section of it, right? So things are already been done for this part. Now we just need to move into the practicals, like we just need to move into SQL workbench and need to understand how we can create the SQL queries and how we can run the queries accordingly. Okay. So this is what we need to done. So we will be doing it in the next session. After that is done, we will be moving down in the next topic. Okay. So, guys, hopefully things as of now, all of the things have been clear to you from the Excel part till the advanced Excel coming down to the SQL. Till now, the SQL part is not completed yet. Hopefully, the major things are very much clear to you so that you can just take it accordingly. Later, we will be learning how we can combine the SQL along with this Excel and take the data accordingly. That we will be also covering. Okay. So thank you guys. We'll connect in the next session. Thank you everyone. Bye.